right, aren't they?
They are. Here we go. Tip-off controlled by Arkansas Fort Smith. Very quickly down the court is number 12, Brett Cannon. Cannon picked up there by Darius Perkins. Cannon over to Seth Youngblood. Youngblood back to Stojanovic. Stojanovic working around the horn. Patient offensively early on. Back to Youngblood on the left wing. Youngblood wants to drive. He's going to take the layup. It is missed, but tipped back up and in by number 21, Kenny Martin. Right place, right time for the
right
offensive
place.
board.
Yeah, his man went off to help with the shot. Smart move by Martin.
JoJo McGlasson on the cutting. Chris Smith throws it down.
There we go.
Their first 2 points. Tied up at 2 apiece. 19:21 left to go here in the first half. Early action. Utah State with a dunk from Chris Smith. Second leading scorer in last week's game in their exhibition opener. Working around the horn over to Glavish. Glavish back to Cannon. Cannon, number 12, right wing, wants to test the paint again. Kicks it back over to Glavish. Glavish gets to the rim and can't finish as he drove the paint. Rebound brought down by Perkins. Perkins' pass intercepted at midcourt by Glavish, and Glavish going the other way for Arkansas Fort Smith. Back up top to Youngblood. Youngblood for 3 on the right wing. Can't get it to fall. Good rebound. Pulled down by Jalen Moore. Aggies want to slow it down a little bit. Darius Perkins looks over to Coach Morrill. Coach Morrill fires off a signal, and here comes Utah State back in their offense. Perkins nearly has the ball stripped away. He's able to regain possession over to Chris Smith, who gets a screen for Moore. Back to Colette. Coach Morrill wants this offense to fire it up. Perkins,
I like that.
Jumper from the free throw line, up and good off that screen.
A nice pull-up jumper. He penetrated. They backed up, pulled up, shot it in. Nice move.
4-2 our score. 18:21 left to go. Utah State leading by 2.
The Aggies played good defense last week. I like to see them sit in this strong man-to-man, Scott.
Stojanovic back over to Cannon, trying to post up Martin. Martin, again, little struggling offensively for Arkansas Fort Smith. Good defense by Utah State. 3-point shot from the left wing up and no good. Rebound brought down by Jalen Moore. Good defense. Know your role. Stay in your position. Good job by Utah State.
Good rebound. Yeah, good set right there for him.
Darius Perkins picked up at midcourt. Back over to Jalen Moore up top. Chris Smith wants to drive. Gets into the free throw line. Dishes to Colette. Colette caught on the left baseline. Turnaround jumper up and good.
Excellent move. Great poise and that good footwork we saw. Good continuation of that.
Really good start for Utah State. Ball goes out of bounds on the lead pass off of a Arkansas Fort Smith player. Utah State gets the ball on the turnover, leading 6-2 with 17:34 left to go. Much calmer, much focused team this year. This game.
I think we got some experience last week. That's you can't duplicate a different color jersey, and we learned that last week.
Darius Perkins casually bringing the ball up the court, gives it to Moore on the right wing. And a move. Oh, they're going to get him for a travel.
Yeah, Jalen wanted to feed it, covered and drug his back foot.
So here comes Arkansas Fort Smith going the other way. Utah State leading 6-2 as Alex Cooper, quick check-in for Arkansas Fort Smith. Alex Cooper sets a screen down underneath. Swing it around to number 24, Youngblood. Youngblood left wing, wants to drive once again, gets into the lane. Nice layup, up and good. And actually give that to Devonta Thomas, number 23.
Boy, that was a tough drive.
That was. Nice finish, nice English at the rim, and the Lions cut it to a 6-4 lead. Utah State up by 2. Nice pass down into the paint. Kick out for the 3-point shot for Perkins. Left wing, no good. Left baseline, no good. But that's the kind of shot you want in this offense.
That's the right play. Just got to go in, and it will.
And here comes Arkansas Fort Smith. Youngblood wants to drive, pulls up, loses the handle on the ball. Ball's up in the air. Finally brought down, and a layup at the paint is up and good. Alex Cooper does a good job, man. That kid can finish. Yeah. Tied up at 6 apiece. 16:30 left to go here in the first half.
They're pretty athletic. They're competing right now.
Really athletic, no doubt. Chris Smith wants to drive from the right wing. He's going to hoist up a shot, and it is sent into the second row by Teo Tonio Doe.
Whoa, what?
First name Teo Tonio, last name D-O-E, Doe.
That's amazing. I love it. That might be an all-name team.
6'10", 215-pound sophomore from Angola. Free-flowing substitutions for this team from Arkansas Fort Smith. So Utah State inbounds underneath their own basket, and Darius Perkins resets the offense. Over to Smith on the right wing. Back to Jalen Moore. Up top outside the three-point line. Trying to post up Collette. They've got him on the right block. Collette gets his footwork in, and he's hammered.
Doe get it again.
Doe stuffs him at the rim, and here comes Arkansas Fort Smith trying to take their first lead in the game as number 2 drives, puts his foot down, and tries to draw some contact.
I think we got a foul, haven't we?
I believe so. And you know what? I have no idea who number 2 is. So we're all looking around to see, hey, who's this mysterious number 2? Because I don't have him on either roster.
Number 2.
We don't have him. Everybody's looking around.
That's illegal if he's not on the...
I would think so. So for right now, for all intents and purposes, that young man is named Mr. 2.
I love it.
Take a quick break. Come back with
Let's
one.
Go with 2 and Doe and go from there.
Okay,
you go.
Scott? We're all tied up at 6 apiece. Utah State and, again, Arkansas Fort Smith. You're listening to Utah State basketball on the Aggie Basketball Network.
Great.
Welcome back to the Glenn Smith Spectrum. Utah State and Arkansas Fort Smith, the Lions of Arkansas Fort Smith, all tied up at 6 apiece. Utah State jumped out to an early 6-2 lead before back-to-back buckets by the Lions have evened us all up at 6 apiece. Early impressions on this one, Coach? I know we're only 4 minutes into this game.
Well, I think that I liked our start on the defense, but then they picked up the tempo, and they're really a penetrating, driving outfit, and their quickness is giving us a little bit of trouble. We ought to back off a half a step and contain them, and let's see what they can do over the top. Right now, they're pretty tough at the rim, aren't they?
Yeah, Utah State shooting 50% from the field, 3 of 6. Arkansas Fort Smith just 43%. Right now, you've got some Perkins has a bucket, Collette has a bucket, Smith. But I tell you what, I think David Collette got a good feel for what some bigs around the Mountain West Conference are going to be like, because he got stuffed a couple times there at the rim.
Yeah, they got some quick jumpers, and that's going to give us a little room. I see our officials meeting together. They're going to help us with this mysterious number 2.
The mysterious number 2. So Arkansas Fort Smith, and this is exhibition, and it's a Division II school. A number 2 jumped out on the floor, and everybody's looking around like, who the heck is this guy? Because I don't see a number 2. And so the referees are going to try to figure this thing out while we try to be able to correctly identify who this young man is. All right, so Stu Morrill and assistant coach Chris Jones out on the floor talking to some of the players, getting them ready. And we're getting set. A little bit of confusion over here.
We're going to shoot the technical for the illegal.
Yep, Utah State will shoot a technical because they brought a player here and didn't identify who he is.
Then they'll come back and continue the game at the spot of the violation. And be out of bounds down here.
Looks like Chris Smith will be the one shooting the free throw for Utah State. If he's a coach, that had to drive you nuts if you're, if you're a sports information guy.
I would be talking to one of my assistants who's responsible for getting the starting lineup, roster, and everything in. You know, that we don't have 6 or 7 guys in coats and ties sitting on the bench for nothing, Scott.
Yeah, no.
In this day and age.
Yep. So Chris Smith will shoot the technical shot, and you're on that. That's no bueno. You can't be getting away with that.
No, sir.
So Chris Smith shooting the free throw. It's up and good. He's got a nice stroke from the free throw line.
Yeah, he does. He's going to be a player. I think you called that last week. You could see that he's going to be he and Collette are going to kind of put the ball in the hole.
And 2 technical free throws. The second one is up, and guess what? I jinxed him. My fault.
No,
sorry, everybody.
No, that's his fault. He knows that I saw him shoot it himself.
You're not the superstitious type.
Not a bit. I've been in the game too long to watch those kids miss for whatever reason.
Alex Cooper will inbound underneath his own basket for Arkansas Fort Smith. Utah State leads 7-6, but that lead quickly evaporates as number 23, Devonta Thomas, drives into the lane. Nice floater up and good, and they've got their first lead 8-7 over Utah State as the Lions of Arkansas Fort Smith now put 8 up on the board. JoJo McGlaston over to Colette. Colette up top outside the three-point line over to Perkins. Perkins wants to drive, then kicks it back out to Jalen Moore, who is yet to take a shot, to JoJo McGlaston. Does stay patient offensively. Colette thinks about a three, then pulls it down, drives, and blocked once again. This time JoJo McGlaston gets a rebound, and he puts it up and good. Good job on the offensive board. JoJo McGlaston, his first points of the night.
He finally realized how tall Doe was. He put it up over him.
Yeah, no doubt. Once again, it looks like Alex Cooper wants to drive, then kicks it way out to number 24, Youngblood. Youngblood tries to isolate on Smith, and kicks it way over for a three-point shot, way off the iron for number 23, Devonta Thomas, who already you can tell there's not a shot out there he doesn't like.
That's right. And I've seen enough for me. I'd start loosening up and make him play over the top.
Darius shoots a long three. Perkins off the iron, no good. And here comes Cooper going the other way. Quick point guard, but it's stripped away by Jalen Moore. Tie ball. And they'll go with jump ball, and possession arrow will go back to Utah State. Massive substitutions for Utah State. They're bringing 4 out on the court.
Everybody but
Sean Harris. Let's see, who is the only guy?
Colette.
Yeah, Colette stays out on the court.
Colette stays home, and everybody else comes out. So.
Yeah, so you've got a new lineup. Connor Fry's out on the court. Julian Perry's out on the court. Vico Nomaaya is out on the court as well. Sean Harris in his first action this season did not play in the first exhibition game. Over to Perry. Perry left wing to Colette. Colette wants to drive again, then kicks it over to Harris. Harris back over to Vico. And Vico on the right wing, picked up by Cooper. Vico wants to do something, but he's double-teamed. Kicks it back over to Fry. Fry to Colette. Colette's got a lane. He puts it up. Can't finish. And it's off the iron. And here comes a very quick transition for Arkansas Fort Smith. Attempted three-point shot up, no good, but he's fouled. Number 11, Blake Branham, put the shot up. Did they say it was from 3?
Yes, it's definitely 3, and he kind of drew the foul.
Yep.
Wasn't a good shot. He just moved over into him.
Looked a little bit like LeBron James the other night trying to draw that three-point shot.
That was a bad call, too. That's the superstar call, isn't it?
It is. Blake Branham's going to get to the free throw line for 3 free throws.
We'll see. He's just fresh in the game. He's trying to loosen up there. We'll see if he's good for 3 in a row.
9-8 our score. 14:09 left to go. Utah State leading by 1. Branham calmly hits the first one.
Now it's 3.
He'll have 2 more. Branham steps to the line. They may not be huge in numbers tonight, but the student section very loud.
Lively.
Letting Branham know as he hits his second free throw that they still don't think he's particularly good at this game of basketball. Number 21, Kenny Martin, checks into the game for the Lions of Arkansas Fort Smith. And third free throw off the back iron, no good. Sean Harris pulls down his first rebound of the season. Here comes Vico the other way. Arkansas Fort Smith leading by 1, 10-9. Colette in the lane. Nice shot, up and good.
He's going to let that ball up
away.
Yeah, that's nice.
11-10 our score. Colette now with 4 points on the night. Swinging around the horn. Youngblood back over to Thomas. Thomas wants to drive. Ball tipped out from the outside. 3-point shot up and good, and I believe that was Alex Cooper. The official kind of screened us away on that one, but Alex Cooper drains the 3 from the left wing to make it a 13-11 score for Arkansas Fort Smith.
Nice penetration kick. It was a good job. Push off on somebody holding over there. Number 2, or who did we decide he was?
You know what? We still don't know who he is.
They didn't put a name on it, did they?
Yeah, the famous Mr. 2.
We'll get it on our next stat sheet, I guess. Oh, they got a guy by the name of Harmon.
All right. Vico takes the ball off the right sideline. Inbound pass from Jalen Moore. Picked up by Cooper. Vico wants to drive. Dishes to Colette. Colette, can he finish? No, but he's fouled on the attempt. We'll go to the free throw line. Vico's your spark plug. He's going to make things happen.
We saw that last week at the end of the game. We saw him make a nice input into the game by really executing. He seems to know the offense and can make things happen pretty readily.
By the way, number 2 is a young man by the name of Josh Harmon. He was actually listed as number 32.
Okay.
But he is actually number 2. As David Collette misses his first free throw, he'll have one more.
Yeah, we don't need that. We're going to need all we can get tonight.
No doubt. Set to check in the game for Utah State will be number 50, Elston Jones. Second free throw missed by David Collette. Ball nearly stripped away by Sean Harris, but Alex Cooper quickly going the other way. Branham wants the 3, instead kicks it back out, then gets it back. Baseline 3 blocked away by Collette. Offensive rebound, though, down underneath. Ball's tipped away, and finally layup is up and good. And number 22, Sean Stojanovic, is able to lay it up and in.
Oh, there's way too many blue shirts under the bucket playing catch on us right now, Scott.
Yeah, can't do that. Offensive rebounding, killing Utah State.
Yeah, get some box out. Root somebody out of there.
Connor Fry over to Sean Harris. Sean Harris back to Vico on the left wing, picked up by Cooper. Vico dances around a little bit, back over to Fry, trying to post up Collette on the left block. Colette's got position, turnaround, nice shot, up and good. Love that shot.
Yeah, very quick, up over the top.
Arkansas Fort Smith very quickly down the lane, and an offensive foul drawn by David Collette. Arkansas Fort Smith leading this game 15-13. However, on the offensive foul, Utah State will have possession going the other way. David Collette's going to check out of this game. Elston Jones comes in, so the entire starting lineup has now been subbed out for Stu Morrill's crew.
We'll see what our depth looks like now.
Vico to Harris. Harris looking for Fry, but he's picked up defensively. Arkansas Fort Smith trying to smother a little bit defensively. Back to Pierre on the left wing. Pierre, a yo-yo dribble. Wants to take the 3. He's got it up, no good, and not necessarily a shot that Coach Morrill's going to like.
I don't think,
Ball's going to go off the leg. That's off of Cooper. I might get my Al Lewis on if they give this back to Arkansas Fort Smith. They do not. So fortunately, I do not need to scream at the officials.
No, sir. You did a good call right there.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Took that in away.
Goes off his foot, goes off his knee, out of bounds, and so Utah State regains possession after back-to-back turnovers from Arkansas Fort Smith. Utah State still trailing, though, 15-13 to this team from Arkansas. Sean Harris on the right wing. Over to Elston Jones. Let's see how Elston Jones does. Disappointing first game. Swings it over to Perry. Perry short arms it on the shot from the free throw line. Ball goes out of bounds, and we have a foul. We do.
50, that's Jones.
Elston Jones picks up his first foul, and we've got a timeout on the field as well. Utah State trailing Arkansas Fort Smith 15-13, 11:59 left to go. First half action. You're listening to Utah State basketball on the Aggie Radio Network. Taking on Arkansas Fort Smith. Did you know, Coach, that Fort Smith, Arkansas, the second largest city in Arkansas behind Little Rock?
Is that right?
Yep. I got a lot of these tidbits.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know much about that state. We all know Little Rock, Arkansas, and we know the Razorbacks.
Yes. Suey.
Suey, do we ever?
The pick to finish first in the media poll for the fourth straight year. They're back-to-back defending regular season champs. However, they were upset in the tournament last year, their conference tournament. Still went to the Division II tournament, but were upset in the first round of that tournament as well. So, not the way they wanted to end their season.
Good competition. I like what's happening. Our guys are going to have to come to play.
In case you're wondering, Wyoming in football has added a field goal, but Utah State still leading 17-3 with 1:21 left to go in the second quarter. All right, some substitutions out on the court. We'll get you those names. Number 12, Brett Cannon, Up top right wing. Swings over to number 11, Blake Barnum.
Sitting in a little zone, Scott.
Yeah, back to Cannon.
Yeah.
This might be the first time I've seen them go with zone.
I think it is. First time this year.
This time just working around the horn, trying to post up a man down underneath. Can't get it to him. Melvin Anthony is who they're looking for. Finally, they get it to Anthony, but it's tipped away, and the ball is kicked back out to Cannon. Cannon over to Blake Branham for a long three. Sean Harris is going to rip down the rebound.
Nice
Harris over to Vico.
Like
Vico going the other way quickly. Utah State trailing by 2, 15-13. Picks up a screen from Elston Jones. Vico looking for Sean Harris. Vico finally gets it to Harris on the right wing. Here's Connor Fry, who had a great first exhibition game, but pulls up his dribble at the free throw line and has to pick it over to Vico. Vico wants to drive on the right wing, trying to get that screen from Elston Jones. Finally gets it. I don't know if he's getting paid by the dribble here, but he probably ought to give it up. Connor Fry on the left wing, trying to post up Elston Jones. He's got good position. Turnaround jumper. Shot up, no good. He short-armed it. Ball tipped around. Finally goes out of bounds.
And got hit. We might have called a foul on Sean Harris.
Sean Harris draws the foul. Jalen Moore is going to check back into this game. Sean Harris goes back to the sideline, a young man who Coach never felt like, and this Utah State staff never felt like they'd get that additional year for him in the NCAA. They were absolutely shocked that they were able to get him another year of eligibility.
That's why they were cautious last week, I guess.
No doubt.
By not getting him started yet.
So Arkansas Fort Smith trying to post up a player down underneath. They've got it to him, but the ball's going to go off his hands, out of bounds. Number 22, Dusan Stoyanovich, turns the ball over. Vico stays in at point guard. Vico picked up by Cannon. Cannon, number 12, over to Connor Fry, number 11. Connor Fry on the right wing. Gets a double screen. Finally pushes over to Elston Jones. Jones to Vico. Vico almost loses the handle as he's guarded by Cannon. Vico crossover dribble. Crossover again. Back over to Fry. Fry's going to drive. Finish, young man. Gets it up and good. Connor Fry had a great exhibition game. Ties his game up to 15 apiece. 10 minutes left to go in the first half.
Nice penetration.
Stoyanovich back up top to number 5, Melvin Anthony. Anthony to Cannon. Cannon back up top to Brenham. Branham wants to drive, and the ball's nearly stripped away by Fry, but they're going to call a foul down underneath.
A reach in before the ball. Not bad.
Dusan Stoyanovich, 6'7", 200-pound player from Serbia, averaged 9 points, 5.5 rebounds, but only played 5 games last year before having a season-ending injury, so he's getting back into the groove.
And you say Youngblood was the freshman of the year in the conference?
Yep, number 24, Youngblood, who's back into the lineup, comes into the game, and he was your Heartland Conference Player of the Year, or Freshman of the Year. Stoyanovich gets the inbound underneath his own basket, tries to lay it up, but is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Harry gets called for the foul.
Great veteran crew of officials. Tom O'Neill's been around a long time. In fact, last year we enjoyed he and his son together.
Nice.
He's an official also, and then Randy McCall and Dave Hall. That's a
Stoyanovich puts up the first free throw to give Arkansas Fort Smith a lead back at 16-15 with 9:46 left to go.
All 3 of those officials have done Final Fours. The final game of the Final Four.
How great is that?
Yeah, that's
a veteran staff right there.
That's the top of the heap for these good officials we have in the Mountain West.
Yeah, Stoyanovich nails both free throws, pushes the lead back to 2, 17-15, 9:46 left to go here in the first half. Utah State trailing by 2 to Arkansas Fort Smith. This was about the time of the game last week where Utah State started to pull away. They led by 12 at the half. McGlaston over to Perkins, over to Sean Smith on the right wing.
Now they're giving us a zone look.
Yep. So Perkins up top drives, has to dish it back over to JoJo. JoJo's taking the 3, no good. Nice shot, looked like it was going down, just rimmed out. Stoyanovich leading the break, going the other way over to Cannon. Cannon, search dribble, kicks it back over to Brenham. Brenham thinks about a 3, then kicks it back, and they're going to slow it down. Mihawk Glavish back in the game. Glavish over to Stoyanovich, and then Glavish back to Brenham. Brenham trying to get in the lane, kicks it out for 3. Shot is up, no good. Front iron. Rebound brought down by Utah State. JoJo McGlaston picked up at midcourt. Spin dribble, trying to get to the lane. He does. He's fouled. Offensive. Nope.
Right over the top of Stoyanovich.
JoJo McGlaston trying to make it happen. Trying to create, and picks up the foul. 17th foul for Utah State. So on the next one, you'll see Arkansas Fort Smith shooting free throws. 8:54 and counting.
That was a little bit wild, really nowhere to go. You know,
they really like his playmaking ability, but sometimes that can get you into trouble a little bit.
It takes some time. You know, I think we're kind of in between on our up-tempo, fast-break offense. We don't know quite when to go.
Number 44, Benno Stevenson, into the ball game for Arkansas Fort Smith. Works it over to number 4, who's also into the game, Miha Glavish. This time, Cannon wants to drive over to Brenham for 3, right wing. Looks good, doesn't fall though. Offensive rebound, brought down to Glavish. Glavish on the right blocks, double team, finally kicks it way back out to Brenham. Brenham over to Cannon, Cannon back to Brennan. Down underneath, Glavish. Glavish turnaround shot, up, no good. JoJo McGlaston finally rips down the board over to Perkins. Perkins wants to drive for Utah State, gets into the lane, and draws the foul. Utah State really attacking, though.
Yeah,
I do like the style.
Yeah, but our offense is really stagnant when we're at half court. You said it when Vico was pounding the ball. Lots of dribbling, and when that happens, you got 4 guys standing around saying, you know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So the ball's got to be moving. Get it up off the floor.
First free throw for Perkins, rims out.
Oh, we're having a little foul trouble here, aren't we?
A bit of a carryover from the end of that game last week. Some mass substitution here for Arkansas Fort Smith, including our man, Teotonio Doe. My new favorite player. Teotonio Doe, 6'10", blocked, had a couple block shots there in the early part of the first half. Second free throw is up and good. Arkansas Fort Smith leading by 1, 17-16, as JoJo goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Josh Harmon, number 2, swings it over to number 0, Alex Cooper. Back up top, left wing, three-point shot, no good for number 24, Seth Youngblood. And that gives us a media timeout. Utah State trails by 1 to Arkansas Fort Smith. 7:55 left to go. First half action. You're listening to Utah State basketball on the Aggie Radio Network.
Jump off, Jalen got the steal down.
Back to the Deagle and Smith Spectrum, Utah State basketball. Utah State trailing Arkansas Fort Smith 17-16. 7:55 left to go here in first half action. Scott Gerard filling in for Al Lewis. This one, last week, I think we lost, Coach, when Al was in Hawaii. This week, we win.
Yeah, that's right. We're not trading him, are we?
No.
Bad weather, rain, snow, sleet, hail.
The only good thing about Laramie is when it's in the rearview mirror.
Amen to that.
Utah State trailing by 1 with the ball, moving right to left across your radio dial. Chris Smith works it over to Curtin, who checks into the ball game. Trace Curtin getting his first action in tonight's game. Over to Darius Perkins, left wing, back to Smith. Over to Perkins, straightaway 3, no good. Back iron, rims out. And here comes Cooper for Arkansas Fort Smith. Swinging around the horn, they're going to take it straightaway 3, and that is missed. Chris Smith rips down the rebound as Seth Youngblood, struggling from the field, leading leading scorer from last year's team. Long three for Trace Kierton. Actually, he's going to pull it down and drive, kick it over to Perkins. Perkins thinks about a three. He drives baseline, kicks over to Kierton, but not before Perkins picks up the offensive foul, crashing from the baseline.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go, got up in the air, made a nice pass, but you got to come down. We're really hesitant on what I think are some pretty decent shots. We ought to pull the trigger. You know, the old shot fake is no good unless you shoot.
Yeah.
You know, and we've overdone the shot fake in the game so bad nobody ever moves on the first fake.
So somebody needs to be a little selfish.
Yeah, just catch it, shoot it once or twice, and then next time shot fake it, they'll go for it.
Alex Cooper running the point. He was your starting point for this Arkansas Fort Smith team. Youngblood thinks about it. He's yet to make a shot. He's 0 for 3 from the field. He's almost cranks another one. Back to Cooper.
Shot fake, shot fake, shot fake.
Cooper back over to Harmon. Harmon, number 2. Not 32. Back to Cooper. Youngblood's going to crank a three. Is this one going to go? Nope. 0 for 4 from the field. But another offensive rebound pulled down by Arkansas Fort Smith. Cooper, runner from the into the lane, no good. And Elston Jones rips it down, and they're going to call a foul on Arkansas Fort Smith on the rebound.
They got 3 shots on that series. They don't like it. Here comes our offense now. We'll get things going.
That is a little disheartening, though, and one guy's your offense.
Yeah, that's about where we're at. Yeah. Colette's got 6 of the 16 points.
So Trace Kierton, Perkins brings the ball down the paint. Kierton's still in the game. He's left wing, receives the pass, looks to Moore, back over to Perkins, swings it to Smith. Smith from 3, no good. Airballed it. Right wing, completely missed. Ball goes out of bounds. But they're going to say on the missed shot, a player from Arkansas Fort Smith got a hand on it and went out of bounds off of them. So Utah State regains possession. Kierton way up top on the inbounds pass over to Perkins, and Utah State resets the offense. A lot of standing around out there, Coach. Perkins finally, here we go. Kierton to Smith, right wing, over to Perkins. Perkins looking for Colette. Instead goes cross court, nearly stolen away, but finally brought down by Smith. Smith pull up from about 15 feet out, can't get it to fall.
Oh, he missed the rim on that one, too.
I know. I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, you're right.
That's why we shot the shot clock. Heard the shot clock.
Alex Cooper swings it right wing, long three-point shot, no good. Another offensive rebound. Back to Cooper, left wing. He'll take a three. Rattles around, no good. And finally, David Collette pulls down the board. Darius Perkins gets the screen from Collette over to Chris Smith. Back to Perkins. Over to Kierton. Kierton all by himself on the baseline. Finally, Big Sim brings it back out to Perkins.
Oh, they're having a hard time penetrating this zone.
They really are. Zone's giving them fits. David Collette's going to take it. Pull up, shot, no good, front iron. And here comes Doe, rips down the board. And Arkansas Fort Smith quickly with Youngblood going in transition. Devonta Thomas in the game as well. Over to Alex Cooper, who's running the point. Alex Cooper picked up by Smith. Swings it back over to Thompson. Over to Youngblood. Youngblood right wing, picked up by Perkins. Youngblood now gets into the lane, kicks it out for what looked to be a three-point shot, then works it back to Youngblood, and Youngblood misses once again, 0 for 5 from the field. Finally, a long rebound brought down by Perkins, who wants to drive, gets into the lane, and swatted away in a big way. And here comes Arkansas Fort Smith. The Thompson shot up at the rim, no good, and a foul. Boy, I tell you what, you're seeing a big-time talent here.
I'll tell you, he's playing above the rim right now.
Tonio Doe is a force at the rim. My goodness. That's a guy that you got to keep your eye on. 17-16 our score. Arkansas Fort Smith leading by 1. Extremely slow scoring, or low scoring.
How long have we been at this score for a long? Uh-oh, here comes the fire squad.
Jeez, this is
5 new ones.
It's like a hockey line change.
It is, exactly. He's played 11 or 12 already. He's done a job.
All right, number 23, Devonta Thomas checks into the ball game. Number 12, Brett Cannon into the game. It's a 5. It's like when you have a bad hand at poker. You're like, give me 5 new ones.
That's right. Let's try it again.
At the free throw line, Devonta Thomas makes the free throw, extends the lead. 18-16 our score with 4:33 left. Actually, 19-16 with 4:33 left to go. First half action. Scott Gerard, Rod Tueller, thanks for making this part of your evening. Utah State football at the half, leading 17-3 against Wyoming. Full court press being put on by Arkansas Fort Smith. Utah State handles it easily. Henry Bolton checks into the ball game, now running the point. Utah State just trying to find a spark from somebody.
Yeah, we're just
Jalen Moore, right wing 3, got it. And Jalen Moore, that's his first shot attempt of the night. Drains a three, brings this crowd alive, ties the game up at 19 apiece. 4:09 left to go. Into the lane, Arkansas Fort Smith. Shot rattles around. Another offensive rebound by Glavish. Glavish is fouled on the putback. And Glavish is not a big man. But he's in the trees, 6'6", 200. He's able to rip down the board.
He's been deep all night long, getting beat up a little bit, but got it done.
Takes us to another timeout. 19-19 our score. 3:59 left to go. Utah State, Arkansas Fort Smith tied. You're listening to Utah State basketball on the Aggie Radio Network. Welcome back, Utah State, Arkansas Fort Smith. Exhibition game number 2 for Utah State is all square at 19 apiece, 3:59 left to go. All right, so you can follow me on Twitter at ScottyG1280. And I've got a comment rolling in here from Shane, who tweets in and says, "What's this? Stu is running a motion offense. Never thought I would see the day."
Well, I don't think it's been a long time since you've seen so many new players. A little bit of athletic ability. I think Stu's experimenting, letting them try and play, see what they're doing.
How much of this is what we'll see in the regular season? Is this pretty much the same?
I don't think it's much of a look right now. I think he's going to find these players and structure a little bit more and emphasize the positive and eliminate the negative. That's an old-timer, but it's true.
Miha Glavish hits his first free throw, hits his second to give Arkansas Fort Smith the 2-point lead. And again, press being put on by Fort Smith as Connor Fry gets the ball over to Chris Smith, back over to Bolton. Henry Bolton brings the ball past the timeline, and Fort Smith pulls back the pressure. 23 seconds left to go. 3:46 left to go in the game. Here comes Jalen Moore getting to the rim, finishes it, and one.
I just talked about that off air, and that is the ball needs to be in Jalen's hands a little bit more. Yep. If we're going to do the freewheeling motion offense, get the ball in his hands and let him work.
The words you said, let the man create.
That's exactly right.
He can certainly do that.
He did that. So 5 quick points.
So Jalen Moore will, if he can knock in the free throw, which he struggled with last week, this will be a reverse jinx.
Yeah, let's see this.
But Jalen Moore struggled last game. Shot is up and good. True.
Gives
Utah State a lead with 3:42 left to go. 22-21. Utah State up by 1 against Arkansas Fort Smith. Glavish working around the horn. Again, a bunch of new substitutions into the game for Arkansas Fort Smith, including Melvin Anthony over to Cannon. Cannon gets to the lane, puts up a floater, and gets it to drop.
Might have took an extra step right through there. It looked like a run.
Yeah. Gives Arkansas Fort Smith the 1-point lead. Utah State trailing 23-22. 3:17 left to go in the first half. Chris Smith, right wing. Over to Connor Fry. Connor Fry posting up. Colette. Colette's got good position. Can he finish? Yes. Put him in a spin cycle. Let him have it. Up and in.
Great footwork.
Really
fundamental.
Good footwork. Yeah. That's just Stu Morrill coaching. We've seen so many bigs with those moves in the paint. All right. Here comes Glavish. Works over to Cannon. Cannon gets the screen from Glavish, gets into the paint. Can he finish as well? No. Crazy shot, ripped down by Connor Fry. 2-on-1 going the other way. Fry over to Smith, and it's batted away. Nice job by Blake Branham to get back and get a hand on that.
I would like Fry to have seen the court a little bit more. Should spread out, stopped at the foul line.
Go wide.
Jalen Moore was coming on his right side, but he was right in front of him.
Henry Bolton thinks about a three, gives it over to Chris Smith, who will take the three, and he gets the three from the baseline.
Here's the Aggie playtime, about the same time as last week.
Biggest lead for Utah State since they led 6-2. Our score 27-23. 2:30 left to go here in the first half. Arkansas Fort Smith trying to set up their offense. Number 11, Blake Branham. Branham back over to Stojanovic. Stojanovic gets into the lane. Crazy shot. Gets it to fall, and he gets the foul, too. Or they call offensive? Nope. Yeah, they did. Offensive. Wipe it away.
That's two for Colette, isn't it?
Yep. Colette drawing doing a good job drawing the offensive fouls. By the way, nice crowd starting to fill in here.
It is.
On a night where Utah State's playing a really pivotal football game.
Maybe they're here for halftime. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Things are comfortable in Laramie.
Yeah, 17-3 still at halftime for Utah State football.
Boy, that three is an interesting number. Our defense has just been playing lights out, Scott.
No doubt. Just incredible performance. Jalen Moore over to Connor Fry. Connor Fry over to Bolton. Bolton thinks about driving, but then gets it to Jalen Moore.
That's it,
Jalen Moore post up, turnaround shot, no good, but he was fouled hard. And Jalen Moore walks by Teo Tonio Doe, and kind of puts a shoulder in him.
Yeah,
like, I'm here.
I'm here. Yep, I'm here. A little more focused right now. He's having a nice night. This will make 7.
Good job.
And 8.
See, you're not going to jinx him.
No, I love to talk right through his shot, make him play. He's getting like his daddy. His daddy was a great one.
Jalen Moore looking for shot number 2. Up and good. You called it. 8 points, leading scorer for the Utah State Aggies. David Colette also with 8 points on the night as well. All right, Glavish outside the three-point line looking for Doe. Doe kicks it back over to Cannon. Cannon thinks about a three. Back over to Branham. Branham over to Cannon. Again, working outside the three-point line, as eventually you're going to have to do something. Ball's tipped away, 13 seconds left on the shot clock, and they're going to get Utah State a little bit of a reach-in foul with 1:41 left to go. Utah State leads by 6, 29-23.
Yeah, don't reach. That's a good fundamental.
The hand caught in the cookie jar gets into trouble.
Yeah, absolutely there.
Get your hand slapped. Double bonus.
Yeah, the double bonus not good.
Blake Branham's going to go to the free throw line. You know, for a team from Arkansas Fort Smith, Blake Branham's one of 2 players on this roster from the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, oh, okay. They got 2. Huh?
They've only got 2. So apparently Arkansas not a fertile recruiting ground for Arkansas Fort Smith.
No.
Shot up and good. He makes both. And cuts that lead to 4, 29-25. Utah State with a 4-point lead. Let's see how they finish this first half, Coach. It'll be interesting. See if they can finish strong. Maybe try to push this lead up to 8 or so.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Don't get too conservative. Get the ball moving.
Yep. Bolton over to Jalen Moore, who's almost taken over the game over the last 2 or 3 minutes. Moore swings over to Perry. Perry, who's been quiet, drives baseline and is going to get snagged for the offensive foul.
It just didn't seem like he knew where he wanted to go. Just kind of stumbled his way into that force.
Which seems crazy, but it happens all the time in basketball. When you get in that lane, you're like, now what?
Now what? Now what? That's a good
timeout on the court. We'll go ahead and keep it here, Coach. 29-25, 1:24 left to go. This is where you'd like to see Utah State start to flex their muscles.
Yeah.
They gave up the turnover there on the penalty. What do you want to see?
Well,
Glaston showing flashes of his athleticism.
I like that.
Perkins with 20 seconds on the shot clock gets a screen and then hands it over to Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore over to Chris Smith from the left wing. JoJo's filling it. He wants the ball. Coletzo is going to drive from the top and loses the handle on the ball and turns it over. Arkansas Fort Smith with Glavish after the steal, trying to drives on Moore, hits it, and is fouled by Moore. This is an attacking team.
Yeah, they're slugging to no mercy. You better be ready. Move your feet back up. I still would like to see them beat us over the top, Scott. Yeah. I just think rather than the drive, I would back off and say, "Show me your outside shot."
When you take the court with this team, you better make sure your shoes are tied.
You want to believe it. He's going to come right after you.
Now, Glavish does miss the free throw, keeps it at a 2-point game. Utah State leading by 2, 33-31, 18:05 left to go. as Darius Perkins misses the pull-up jumper quickly in the offense.
I didn't see any reason for that.
And again, attacking the baskets, number 22, Dusan Stojanovic misses the shot, gets his own rebound, puts it up and in, and we're tied up at 33 apiece. 17:47 left to go. Again, tie score at 33. Utah State, Arkansas, Fort Smith. Jalen Moore to Chris Smith on the right wing. Back up top. And here comes Colette, who wants to drive, then kicks over to McGlaston. McGlaston over to Perkins. Perkins, spin move into the lane. Shot up, no good. Nice effort. Couldn't get it to fall. Ball goes out of bounds off of JoJo McGlaston. Score tied at 33 apiece, and Arkansas Fort Smith has the ball with Alex Cooper running the point, going the other way, Coach.
Right now, Darius Perkins' shot selection judgment's a little suspect. He needs to distribute the ball, not worry about that.
Lavish picked up by Moore, works over to Youngblood. Youngblood straightaway three, can't get it to fall, but Slovenia pulls down Stojanovic from Slovenia, pulls down the shot and can't get his turnaround jumper to fall, but he's fouled and gets to the free throw line.
Boy, we're getting beat a little bit. They're playing a little fast on us right now.
Yeah.
Yep. The shot, the rebound.
And they don't pull up offensive rebounds. Actually, Arkansas Fort Smith, 8 offensive boards in this game.
Yeah, that's too many.
First shot is up and good. He'll have one more. That gives Arkansas Fort Smith their first lead since late in the first half. They'll have one more. Kenny Martin, shot up, good. So Arkansas Fort Smith trying to upset the Aggies here in the Spectrum, leads 34-33. 17:05 left to go in the first half. Chris Smith setting up the offense, gets a screen from Moore, then back up top to Moore. Moore over to Perkins on the left wing. Here comes Perkins driving the lane, kicks out to Moore for three. Shot is up and back iron. Look good though. Ball still on the ground, finally ripped down by Cooper. Cooper quickly going the other way. Look how fast they attack. Arkansas Fort Smith dips it down underneath to Kenny Martin. Layup shot good. And they lead is now 36-33.
They're pushing it right at us. Our defensive recovery's not so good. The turnovers don't help, do they?
No, they do not.
And missed shots.
Darius Perkins setting up Colette with a screen. Colette has not been involved much offensively. JoJo McGlaston gets in the lane and is fouled while driving the lane. And Utah State will inbound underneath their basket.
Harmon wanted that foul. He was the reason. Okay, here comes our big guy.
All right.
Watch out for this water.
Here comes Mr. Doe, Teotonio Doe. Perkins wants to get in the lane, and it's swatted away.
By who?
Doe.
I love it.
Teotonio Doe, his third block shot, and when he gets a hold of it, man, he lets you know about it. 6'10", 250 pounds. He's a string bean out there, but it's a really long string bean.
I think this is a combination I'll be interested in right now, and that's an experienced Vico at the point and these other guys. Let's see if we can get a little
Vico over to Chris Smith, shoots the three, up, no good, and finally ripped down. And here comes Cooper.
3-on-1.
Cooper with Doe. They want to throw the alley-oop to Doe, but it's broken up by Vico. Youngblood pulls it down, and it's still being brought down, and finally Chris Smith's got it. Chris Smith trying to throw the alley-oop to Jalen Moore, who can't finish, and here we go. Hurried play going the other way. Arkansas Fort Smith kicks it back out top, right wing to Youngblood. Youngblood's going to slow it down. Kick over the right wing, and this time Utah State, David Colette dives on the floor, knocks it out of bounds, and they're going to say it goes off Colette. But a frantic moment of play for both teams out on the court. Arkansas Fort Smith leads this by 3. 36-33 is our score. Arkansas Fort Smith up by 3. You're listening to Utah State basketball on the Aggie Radio Network. Tueller, thanks for making this part of your evening. 36-33, Utah State trailing Arkansas Fort Smith, and this was the kind of type of the moment where he felt like, all right, Utah State's going to start pulling away, and it just hasn't happened yet, Coach.
I'll tell you, the Arkansas team is running right down our throats. They're pushing the ball at us, out-rebounding us, and out-running us right now.
Leading scorer for Utah State, David Collette, 10 points. Get used to saying that this year. Leading scorer, David Collette.
And that's a good news. We just need some help.
Arkansas Fort Smith, Alex Cooper trying to post up his big man down underneath to number 3, Teo Doe, and offensive foul going the other way. Chris Smith will inbound underneath his own basket. Vico running, actually made the basket. They're waving it off.
Oh yeah, that was an obvious charge, but Doe liked what he did, but it didn't count.
Vico Nomaaya, who had some good moments in that game last week against Texas A&M International. Vico right wing, looking for more, trying to post him up. Not comfortable with the position, so pulls it back out.
I'd like to know what we're trying to do here. It's hard for me to see. A little triangle on this one side, but we're just not... I don't know that we're setting real good screens, Scott.
Jalen drives baseline, kicks out to Chris Smith, over to McGlaston for 3 from the left wing. Back iron, no good. Would you want Jalen to finish that?
I would.
Arkansas Fort Smith quickly has numbers, layup and good.
There we go, just run through them.
Devonta Thomas goes coast to coast, lays it up and in, and their lead is now 5, 38-33. Utah State also selling for a lot of threes here, Coach.
Yeah, outside shots, we're not getting these. I'd go inside, get fouled. Yeah, let's get to the line.
Utah State 2 of 12 from beyond the three-point line. I agree with that. Vico over to McGlaston. Little give and go. Trying to get a roll from Collette. McGlaston into the lane. Pull-up jumper. Can't get it to fall. And Doe has the ball go out of bounds. Doe, you can tell this guy is good at one thing, blocking shots. Other aspects of basketball, maybe not so much.
Not so much. But he's got a nice hustling attitude.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pulled down that rebound, tried to flick it to a teammate, and who wasn't expecting it, and it went out of bounds.
Well, this is a little disconcerting right now, and that is that once again wholesale substitution. The starters didn't get the thing going. Right now, we've got a completely second 5 in there now.
Vico stays in. Other than that, 4 new players. Fry, Sean Smith, who now has the ball on the right baseline, over to Vico. Also, Julian Perry into the game, as well as Elston Jones. See if Elston can generate something.
Sean Harris has got to exert himself a little bit as a veteran player.
Julian Perry tries to drive, gets caught up at the free throw line, over to Vico. Vico drives base, back to Perry. Perry's going to shoot from the right wing for 3. No good. Elston, though, tips it up and in. One-handed offensive board with a flip up and good.
Not bad. His leg's still not healed, but he got a little bit more lift on that. Big hands.
Utah State leads 38-35, 3-point lead. As Arkansas Fort Smith driving into the lane. Are they going to get him with the travel? Nope. They're going to call the foul on Julian Perry.
Yeah, that's a good call. It looked awkward, but he was hanging on him.
For Julian Perry, that's his 3rd foul. He's 0 for 3 on the night. He looked really good last week, but he struggled in this one. 4th team foul for Utah State, too.
Yeah. Well, they've been pushing it at us a little bit, really.
All right, so Arkansas Fort Smith, long inbound pass over to Thomas. Harmon, number 2. Back over to Cooper. Alex Cooper back to Harmon on the right wing, who's picked up by Harris. And an offensive foul on a screen set down underneath.
Vico picked somebody off on the baseline.
Yep. Vico's he's one of those guys that I'm sure is gonna annoy a lot of people. Yeah. He's just kind of
he's an annoying player, and he's on our side. I like him, but I'd also like to see him loosen up. He's a very confident shooter, and he's just not pulling the trigger right now.
All right, so Vico running the point for Utah State, who, again, during that last time out, made wholesale changes. Sean Harris getting his 2nd stint out on the court tonight, over to Connor Fry, the walk-on. Fry, left wing, thinks about the 3, then back to Vico. Offense starting to stall a little bit once again.
We got to get our bigs down inside. There we go.
Vico to Fry, to Elston Jones, who has post-up position. Drop and good. There you go. Good footwork.
Why not down inside? Let he and Harris go to work down in there.
Elston Jones, back-to-back buckets, cuts it to a 1-point Arkansas Fort Smith lead. Cooper has the ball knocked out of his hands. Harmon picks it up, though, takes the shot, misses it, and Connor Fry rips down the rebound.
That's it.
And Vico wants to run. Of course he does. Vico had Elston, couldn't find him, though. But finally, Sean Harris gets it to Elston, kicks over to Fry, back at Perry. Perry for 3. Great ball movement. Get down. But Elston Jones tip up no good. Missed again by Connor Fry. Vico's going to get the offensive rebound, and he's going to reset the offense. Arkansas Fort Smith 38-37 leading Utah State by 1, but Utah State looking much better over the last 2.5 minutes.
I'd like to push those posts deeper. I think that would be a good thing for us.
Julian Perry gets into the lane and loses the handle. Are they going to say it's off of him? Nope, they're going to say off of a Arkansas Fort Smith player.
Somebody swiped him, I guess.
Fortunate play there for Utah State.
Jones has shown me a little here. I like that. That's going to help our depth.
Yeah, no doubt. Elston Jones in the game. Deshaun Harris to Vico. Vico works it around the baseline, back up top, gets a screen from Elston Jones. Works the left wing.
He's wide open.
Over to Deshaun Harris. Yeah, you got to reward the big man. Elston still has position, tries to turn around jumper, kicks it back over to McGlaston. Can't get it. Fight for the rebound, and I cannot see who has it. We got one of your officials standing right in front of us.
Yeah, O'Neill's standing right there, but the big boys, Harris and Jones, kept it up a little bit over the top.
Some more big changes coming in for Arkansas Fort Smith. Coming into the game comes number 5. That is Melvin Anthony. Also number 24, Seth Youngblood, back into the game
and
as well. Utah State, full shot clock, underneath their own basket, trailing by 1 with 12-12 left to go here in the first half. Elston Jones over to Julian Perry. Julian Perry wants to drive, loses it off his foot. Yep, right call.
Yeah.
Went off Julian Perry, off his foot, out of bounds, and Arkansas Fort Smith has the ball going the other way.
Yeah, Julian's had a tough night tonight.
Yeah.
He played a little better the other night, I think. But
such is life of a freshman.
Yes, yeah, learning on the go.
Foul or a whistle away from the ball.
Fry's having a little trouble with his quickness.
Connor Fry's struggling a little bit too. Timeout on the court. 38-37. Arkansas Fort Smith still leading the Aggies by 1. 11:59 left to go in the game. You're listening to Utah State basketball on the Aggie Radio Network. Darius Perkins slowing things down. Trying to get McGlass on a curl, then goes to Chris Smith, who's driving baseline, layup, reverse layup, and on the inbounds pass, it's out of bounds off of Brett Cannon, and Utah State not only has the lead, they got the ball as well off the turnover, the fourth turnover.
Aggies have done a nice job. That's a good technique against a pressure defense like that. The back cut, that's about the third one of the game with that on a nice back cut.
And a lot of times those will be there for you.
Oh, yeah. I call it flushing the pressure. You know, when they're up there, just kind of flush it out, back cut on them, and see what they're going to do.
So Chris Smith on the layup gives Utah State the lead. Utah State underneath their own basket. Quick to Collette. Collette can't get it to finish, but he's fouled on a great inbounds play.
Yeah. He was pushed a little hard, but he recovered, put it up on the board.
So David Collette, who made his last 2 free throws, he's 2 for 4 on the night tonight. We'll get 2 more to try to see if Utah State can extend this lead. 40-39, or excuse me, Arkansas Fort Smith leading by 1. Now we're looking at a tie
David's
game.
looking good at the foul line tonight. I think he's 100%, isn't he?
We got another instance where we got 2 different scoreboards. Now we got it straight up. It's 42-40 Utah State with the lead.
We're getting better. That's the first time tonight, isn't it?
All right. He's made 4 free throws in a row. Utah State now up by 3, 43-40. David Collette has 12 points on the night. Melvin Anthony up top, looking to post up, down underneath to number 3, Teo Doe. Doe can't find anybody and turns it over on the pass play. JoJo McGlass, and this kid's really raw. Chris Smith into the lane and has the ball blocked away by Doe. That's how good he's on. That's why he's out on the court. And here comes the Lions the other way in transition. Shot up, no good. Brought down on the offensive rebound. Back to Cooper. Alex Cooper can't shoot for 3. And here comes Utah State with Darius Perkins on the left side of the court, trying to post up Collette. Colette's got position. Is he going to get blocked away? No. Goes up against Doe. Doe can't block that one. Utah State's up by 5, 45-40. 9:22 left to go here in the first.
Nice little shot fake. I like the tempo. Go down, score it. Let's get it going. Seems a little raggedy, but it fits our players.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Seth Youngblood, right wing. Over to Cooper. Alex Cooper gets in the lane. Shot up, no good. And a great rebound by David Collette, who went up high. Kicks it over to Chris Smith, who slows things down. Utah State leading by 5 with the ball. 45-40. Collette.
That's a rare call.
And we got an injured player, Darius Perkins, who had to walk over. And so an injury timeout. allows Nico to check into the game for Darius Perkins, who's being...
He got hit in the stomach or a little lower, and he's not feeling right.
A little lower, maybe.
Yeah.
So he's being attended to, as Vico will spot point guard duties for him out on the court. Vico's played well tonight.
Yeah, Vico's working his way up the corporate ladder, wouldn't you say?
I would say so, yeah. And he's not... His stat line's never going to blow you away, but he kind of seems to give you a little bit of a spark.
I agree with that. I think there's a stability out there with him, and he pounded it a little bit early, but he doesn't pound it as much with these better players.
Sean Harris over to Chris Smith, back to Harris. Harris drives, kicks over to Vico, left wing. Vico gets a screen from Collette, who rolls and was there.
Slipped him.
Vico couldn't get it to him. Back to JoJo. JoJo with 10 seconds on the shot clock. 6 seconds left. Needs to get something up. Pull-up jumper from about 18 feet. Swish. Nice mid-range stroke from JoJo.
There's that nice little lead. That's the biggest lead of the game, I think, isn't it?
No doubt. 47-40. 8:22 left to go in the ball game. Utah State leading Arkansas Fort Smith, trying to pull away. Shot blocked away. Sean Harris swings over to Vico. Arkansas Fort Smith, one and done. Long shot by JoJo. Back iron. Yeah, that's probably not going to endear you to the coaching staff.
No, sir. Did you see how far back?
Right wing, shot up in transition, no good. And a whistle down underneath. And let's see who they call it on. But my goodness, that was from well past NBA range that JoJo was cranking a shot with about 29 seconds left on the shot clock.
I mean, there's a case, he's just a young kid, and he get caught up in the momentum of the thing and think, I'm going to blow this thing open. He needs to be a little prudent with his shot selection.
Timeout on the court. We'll go ahead and take it as well. You're listening to Utah State basketball on the Aggie Radio Network. Back to the Spectrum. Utah State leads by 7, 47-40. Their largest lead of the night. Scott Gerard, Rod Tueller, thanks for making this part of your evening. For those wondering, fourth quarter has just begun in Laramie with Utah State still holding on to that 17-3 lead over Wyoming. Got to 17 points quite quickly, and then it has gotten very quiet. Although Utah State, nice interception. I'm doing some stuff for Al Lewis, some play-by-play here. To the 20, to the 30, to the 35, 38-yard line.
On a reception in the end zone.
Interception in the end zone as Utah State thwarts a Wyoming scoring drive. Take that, Al. I'm doing both your jobs tonight.
We got a different audience. We're on a big-time station somewhere.
Somewhere.
We go. The diehard Aggies are out there with a dual control. I bet there's a great affinity for Aggie basketball. You know that. People
hey, you know what? Honestly, up against a football game, a really important football game, and on a Friday night, and it being an exhibition game. Nice crowd.
Very nice crowd. Having a good time. Feeling a little better about everything right now with that 7-point lead.
All right, number 23, Devontae Thomas, taking a free throw. Rims out, no good, but another offensive rebound. And on the putback, it's up and missed, but Youngblood's going to crank a three from the left wing and miss that as well. Utah State kicks out to Vico. Vico, 2-on-2. Can he finish? Yes. Vico. Beautiful shot on the layup, and Utah State leads.
Nice quick shot. I like that.
49-40. Youngblood, who can't hit the broadside of a barn, is the team's leading scorer, but he has struggled in this game tonight.
Yeah, he can't get the spot.
Kenny Martin, left wing, drops it down to number 4, and that is Miha Glavish, and Glavish gets a layup to cut the lead back to 7.
Our new Puritan kid that lost that one. He got lost on the back pick.
Yeah, Trace Kierton checking into the game for the Aggies. Jalen Moore set to check in on the next timeout. Trace Kierton, left wing, kicks it back over to Vico. Vico thinks about the three. Baseline, back to Vico. Vico, long three, shot up, no good. Looked like it was going to fall. Sean Harris on the offensive rebound to Smith. Smith for three, no good, but another rebound, but they're going to get Trace Kierton with a push in the back.
When you jump 4 feet forward, that's not good.
Yeah, they're usually going to snag you for that.
Let's get some substitutes in the game.
All right, Julian Perry checks into the game. Jalen Moore checks into the game. Sean Harris is going to sit down, as is Trace Kierton is going to sit down as well. And we've got another timeout. We'll take it as well. 49-42 is our score. Utah State leading by 7. 6:52 left to go in the second half. Welcome back to the Glenn Smith Spectrum. Scott Gerard, Rod Tueller. 6:52 left to go here in the ball game. Utah State leading by 7. Largest lead in this game was 9. Arkansas Fort Smith, though, an attacking team. Going to create some crowds for you. But, Coach, the number you and I were talking about during the break that is no bueno, 35% shooting for Utah State on the game.
Yeah, we've got a nice 7-point lead with that kind of shooting. We tighten up in a few other areas. This would be a double-figure score walking away if we'd make a few shots. I think one of the problems I see, Jalen Moore has only put it up 4 times. He's 2 of 4. We got some other guys that are throwing it up a little bit.
First free throw is up, and it is good for Glavish. Glavish will get one more, trying to cut this lead down to 5. Glavish patiently waiting. Shot up and rims it out. No good.
Students win again.
Jalen Moore, even a condensed student section got to him.
Yeah, that's good.
Vico, who's played some good minutes in this ball game, trying to reset the offense. Stu Morrill barking out some signals. Julian Perry on the right wing. Over to Chris Smith.
They're in their zone now. Let's see if we can execute a little bit.
Chris Smith to Moore. Moore over to Perry. Perry takes a baseline shot. It's blocked, but here comes Collette. Collette throws it down. Up and under move. Under number 21, Kenny Martin, and he fist pumps his way down to the other side of the court.
That was a nice help, a nice screen, and Jalen helped screen that off a little.
All right, so Utah State pushes that lead back to 8. Youngblood trying to post up Dylan. Martin, Kenny Martin then kicks it back out to Youngblood on the right wing. Youngblood gets into the lane, but still just search dribbling, not looking for a shot at this point. And a drive into the lane, up no good, but a rebound, up no good once again, and another offensive rebound, but that shot is blocked away by David Collette. But, Coach, you're seeing Devontae Thomas with 3 offensive boards on that stretch.
Yeah, finally Collette went up and swatted one, but he ought to go up and grab one.
Yeah.
He's still at a whopping 2 rebounds.
49-43, Utah State up by 6 with 5:52 left to go here in the ball game. Inbound play over to 12, Cannon. Number 12, Cannon tries to find Devonta Thomas, who drives the baseline, and that's going to rattle around and fall into the hands of Vico, who's running the fast break the other way. Pulls up, then drives by 2 guys, dishes it out to Moore. Moore, reverse, up and good.
Finally got double figures. Touch the ball.
And we're now, for the first time tonight, Utah State's got a double-digit lead. 10-point game. 53-43. Still by Chris Smith on a cross-court pass. This is the point where you want to put the nail in the coffin, right, Coach?
Yeah, just put the pedal to the metal right now. Finish it up.
10-point lead, 4:53-43, 5:11 left to go. Good crowd tonight, considering all the other things they could be doing.
There it is.
Vico for three, baseline, got it.
He can shoot it.
Once again, Vico flexing his muscles down the stretch of a game. Deep pass, down underneath, turnaround jumper from the baseline, no good. Offensive rebound by Glavish.
Wow, Jalen got pushed out of there. But
yeah.
I would blame Jalen a little. He shouldn't get pushed that easy.
You got Stu Morrill barking at the officials saying,
well,
where's the push in the back?
It was an obvious push, but he kind of went after it a little.
But Glavish gets the rebound and the putback to cut it to 11, 56-45, 4:33 left to go. David Collette in the paint. Let's see if he gets some revenge. He gets a great move. Easy basket. Can't get it to fall.
Nice quick move.
Kenny Martin with the rebound. Beautiful move. Just got to finish. Ball moved to the baseline. Back up top. Straightaway three by Kenny Martin, and he hit it.
Wowie.
So here we go, Coach. Can't put him away. 56-48. What once was a 13-point lead is now down to 8.
Yeah. Couple of lax missed shots. Away we go.
Darius Perkins, who left the game after getting beat up a little bit, is going to check in. But we've got a timeout on the court. JoJo McGlasson's going to come in as well.
And Mr. Jones.
Yep. We'll keep it here, Coach.
Yeah.
4:06 left to go. 56-48. The Aggies leading by 8 points, but you have to like what you've seen over the last 2 or 3
minutes. Yeah, and I would give Vico Nehemiah most of the credit because he pushed the ball, distributed the ball well, put in a three-pointer, got the ball on the back, kept Jalen Moore. Just a nice up-tempo, poised play, and a little bit of contribution from some other players. With Jalen Moore finally hitting double figures, I think he's got 10 now, wouldn't he?
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing, and I need to find my first half stats, Utah State only had 4 assists in the first half. They've got 11 for the game, so they've got 7 assists in the second half. You really
Big improvement.
Yeah.
Big improvement with still 4 or 5 minutes to go, so we've distributed the ball a little bit better. Quit that dribble thing, drive you nuts.
David Collette, leading scorer with 16 points in this ball game. Yeah. Darius Perkins, I think Utah State wants to see if he can finish a game.
Yeah. Nehemiah finished it last time.
Yep. Jalen Moore, right wing. Over to Perkins. Perkins needs to finish strong here. Drives and draws the foul. And that will only be the 16th foul for Arkansas Fort Smith, so Utah State will inbound. That takes us under the 4-minute mark, which means we've got a timeout on the court. Look at Vico giving Perkins a little advice out there on the court, too. Good stuff.
Yeah, that is good stuff.
3:52 left to go here in the ballgame. Utah State up by 8, 56-48, right here on the Aggie Radio Network. 3:52 left to go in this one. Utah State leading by 8, 56-48. Utah State basketball here on the Aggie Radio Network. Scott Gerard and the coach, Rod Tueller. Thanks for making this part of your day. 17-3, still the score in the Utah State football game. However, Wyoming threatening 2 big pass plays, and they're at the Utah State 12-yard line. Still about 9:30 left to go, so still plenty of time in that one.
Plenty of time for us to stop them, too.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Absolutely. All right, so Utah State inbounding with a long inbound pass to Joe McGlaston. He's had some good moments in this game. Over to Darius Perkins. Perkins outside the three-point line straight away to try to post up Elston Jones, who's going to draw the foul. And he did just that.
Yeah, he got great deep position, got him locked right behind him, and that's a foul.
So that is going to put Elston Jones to the free throw line on a 1-and-1 as Arkansas Fort Smith is now in the penalty.
Well, this will be interesting, won't it?
See how the big man shoots free throws.
A lefty?
Yeah. First one up on the 1-and-1, hard off the back iron, and so Arkansas Fort Smith with our boy Doe back in the lineup.
We'll work. That's a work in progress.
That is yes.
We'll look at that.
It's a good way to put that. So Cannon working the point. Swings it over to Stojanovic. Stojanovic back to Cannon. And again, Harvey, number 2. Yeah, there's not a lot of sense of urgency.
They need to be a little more anxious.
To Branham. Branham up top center. Tries to drive on Chris Smith. Picked up well. Loses the handle on it. And they're going to get Chris with the foul.
Move your feet, not your arms. A little bit of reach, a little bit of bump.
It's a good point, too. These are teaching lessons, too. Sometimes the officials will give you, you know what?
And that's a good call. I appreciate that. I tell Randy thanks for that, or whoever. Neil, Neil got it. He's a good one.
Handle yourself a little bit better than that, and you're going to be in a much better position. Utah State, by the way, picked off a pass inside the 20-yard line. So Utah State football, once again, that defense comes up with a big stop.
Isn't that incredible? That is a big stop.
So Utah State leading 17-3 with the ball at about their own 22-yard line. 3:14 left to go here in the second half. Utah State leading by 7 and now make it 6 after back-to-back free throws. 56-50 our score.
This thing is it's a two-position game. Lots of time here.
Out of the woods, and here comes the full-court press. Darius Perkins, though, on a pass, breaks it. They've got a 3-on-2. Perkins is going to drive it and lay it up and in. Darius Perkins.
Scott, better spacing on that.
Yep.
Both guys on the wing opened the lane. They couldn't close it all.
Here comes Cooper, Alex Cooper getting into the lane, can't finish, but fortunately for him, there's a man right behind him, Melvin Anthony, on an offensive tip, lays it up and in.
Took 2 guys with him.
58-52, still a 6-point game, 2:45 and counting left to go. 2:42 left to go in this one. Joe McGlaston on the right wing. Over to David Collette. David Collette wants to drive and can't get it to finish. Gets his own offensive rebound, puts it up, and that won't fall, but he draws the foul on that one. Man, this guy's got a lot of moves in the arsenal, doesn't he?
Fancy, nice, smooth footwork. Missed the shot, went back up and got a second shot.
Just hours really in the gym on moves like that. My goodness. So David Collette, who after missing his first 2 free throws have made 4 in a row. Here comes free throw number 7 on the night, drains it.
He's having another nice night. He's, he's our leading scorer once again. That's going to be common, I think.
17 points, 7 of those coming from the free throw line, 5 of those coming from the free throw line. Let's see if he can hit the next one. Push this lead back to 8. Shot up, good. 60-52, 8-point lead, 2:31 left to go in this one. Utah State trying to put the finishing touches on a win in exhibition play. As Cooper picked up by Perkins.
The zone is helping us a little bit.
Picked up by Collette. A little bit of a mismatch there.
Yeah, it drug him away from the bucket. Get your hands out of there and move your feet.
Josh Harmon, number 2, who's only 6 foot. They list him at 6'4". It might be a little generous.
Yeah.
And was able to get around Collette and draw the foul.
This is what we don't want right now. We don't want a foul. Stop the clock and let him score. I mean, back off, make him shoot a tough shot.
Points scored while the clock is stopped. Never a good thing.
Never a good thing.
As Harmon gets the shot up and good. Josh Harmon, 6'5", 200-pound player out of Richmond, Virginia.
He could put this back to a 2-possession game with 2 minutes to go. That's a lot of time.
Second shot. Got it. Josh Harmon pushes that, cuts that lead to 6, 60-54, 2:17 left to go. Again, full court press. Perkins swings it over to Smith. Smith back to Perkins. And Perkins sees Fort Smith drop back the pressure a little bit. Stojanovic has Chris Smith on the right wing. Chris Smith works it over to JoJo on the left. A little bit of a keep away here. Darius Perkins, as Utah State slowing it down. 1:54 and counting left to go. Still need to run your offense, though.
Yeah,
Jalen Moore over to McGlaston.
We're using a little bit of... There it is.
7 seconds left. They had Jalen Moore posted up in great position, but a kick ball sends it out of bounds.
Got to be a passer.
Yep.
You got to be an interior passer. That's a real skill.
Now the 6 seconds move back to 15 seconds left on the shot clock. 1:48 left to go in the ballgame. Utah State leading, but a precarious 6-point lead to Darius Perkins with 1:45 left to go. Perkins picked up. Down to Collette. Collette tries to throw it down, but fouled at the rim, and he's going to go back to the free throw line for a couple more.
Foul's automatic there so far, so that's a nice move.
Fouled by Melvin Anthony.
That's been open a little bit earlier, but they need to do just what they did, a quicker execution, and then he's still got a nice play rather than go on that slam, go up underneath and just touch it in.
Exactly. Where's the fun in that, though? Everybody wants to throw it down these
exactly.
days.
Yeah, you
want to
got
get on
it right.
SportsCenter.
And what's the fun in being perfect at the line?
Yeah,
you can miss one.
David Collette just missed the front end.
We weren't talking about it. We didn't jinx him. We didn't say a word.
David Collette missed that one, but it's tipped out by Jalen Moore, but it leads to an Arkansas Fort Smith long rebound. And finally,
they don't want to shoot it. That's fine with us.
Yeah, Alex Cooper, right wing, as Utah State leads by 6 with 1:30 left to go. And here comes Stojakovic, who loses the handle, and it's finally picked up by Cooper. Cooper wants to shoot the three, then drives, tries the floater, can't get it, and Perkins pulls down the board. All right.
Boy, they can't shoot the outside
left
shot.
To go. Perkins being hounded. 28 seconds. Take your time. Jalen Moore up top center circle. Works it over to McGlaston on the left. McGlaston with 18 seconds left. Swings it back over to Perkins on the left wing. And Utah State with 55 seconds left to go in the game, leading by 6. Now with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Darius Perkins picked up by Cooper. Gets a screen. Gets over to Collette. Loses the handle. Perkins has it. Shot in the paint. Good. Milked the entire clock. Got the shot. Best case scenario for Utah State.
That ices it right there, I think.
And JoJo tips the ball out of bounds as Arkansas Fort Smith was trying to run. And so that stops the possession and allows Utah State to regroup defensively.
Well, it's been a good effort. We've seen a few improvements along the line. Certainly, we've established David Collette's role in this team.
No doubt.
And I think Jalen Moore got off the snide a little bit with a better ball game. So, all right, nice to see Darius Perkins finishing the game at the point.
Alex Cooper swings it up top for a three-point shot. No good. Another offensive rebound, but it's ripped out by David Collette. Collette's got numbers if he wants. Over to Moore. Alley-oop, but he misses it off the iron.
That was a bad pass. You got the center lobbing to the power forward.
With 20 seconds left, Utah State leading comfortably. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. As a layup is up and good, and the foul. That cuts it to a 6-point game, and a free throw with 16 seconds left to go as Utah State now sees that lead potentially cut down to 5 with a free throw coming up for Stojanovic. And Stojanovic got the layup and the shot.
What do we got, a little blood?
Looks like it. So David Collette, bloodied up a little bit, has to go over to the sideline. And Stojanovic is going to wait to go to the free throw line with 16 seconds left to go here in the ball game. Utah State's going to win this thing, Coach, but still, way too much drama. That you don't want games to be this close.
It's very similar to last week. I mean, it's a team we couldn't quite put away that we probably should try to put away, but it's all right. This team is still. I like the improvement made. I just think our shooting right now is not where it needs to be.
16 seconds left as, again, Stojanovic goes to the free throw line. Dusan Stojanovic. And it is up and good. Completes the three-point play. So 62-57 left to go.
They got time to foul now. It's their only hope. They'll see if they do it.
Try to stretch the game out a little bit. Chris Smith set to inbound and a lot of pressure Smith is going for the touchdown pass. He's got JoJo. JoJo's going to grab it and pull it back out smartly by JoJo McGlaston. And he loses the handle on the ball. And
we needed some help. Everybody left him down there.
We got screened away on the play by Coach Morrill. Didn't see what happened. So Utah State does have the ball underneath their own basket with 11 seconds left to burn in this game. See if they can put this thing away, Coach.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. It's been kind of a slug down the stretch a little bit.
I know it's exhibition. I know fans want to see 40-point blowouts, but these are nice lessons that you can take inside the season, correct?
Yeah, this is really a team. We know that this is a really teaching team for Stu. It's going to take 3 quarters of the season to get all of these things straightened out. So we make incrementally important steps, and I think we've made some tonight. One thing this coaching staff likes about this team is their effort.
Yeah.
There's been no lack of effort out here.
None whatsoever. You're exactly right on that.
Yeah. Every kid's trying the best he can. We question a little bit some of their judgment, but
you can work with that, right?
Oh,
the effort's there. You can work with.
That's all you love. Yeah, that's all if they give you all they got, we'll do the rest.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, Utah State set to inbound. The ball is dropped out to JoJo, quickly fouled by Alex Cooper, and JoJo's going to go to the free throw line.
We're going to let JoJo get a point or two. That's not bad.
Yep. So JoJo tonight, 6 points on 3 of 7 shooting. And we'll try to add to that total. Your leading scorers in this game, David Collette with 18. Jalen Moore with 10, only 2 points, though, in the second half.
Kenny Martin ends up being the leading scorer for Arkansas. That's interesting. That's the big kid, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
First shot up and good for JoJo McGlaston. He'll have one more. 63-57. This is a good one, too, because that makes it a 3-possession game.
Yes.
That'll ice it, which he does.
Yes, he does. Good job, JoJo.
9.8. This is one where you just kind of pull back and let them do their thing. See if he can use as much time as possible. Shot from the baseline, blocked away. Never mind, they're not giving him that. And here comes the winning team, losing team.
They're
with
just barely going to get that in, yeah.
That's something you would have liked to have done a little earlier in the game, but that's all right. Ball tipped on the inbounds. Arkansas Fort Smith will regain possession. Here comes the inbounds, 3.3. Shot up from the three-point line. No good. Here's your ball game, folks. Utah State final score 64-57. Utah State wins both their exhibition games, Coach, by 7 points.
Yeah.
First one 77-70. This one 64-57.
Lots of players in the game. A good look for everybody in that film session. We'll learn a little bit. I would think the starting lineup's going to stay the same, but I think Vico has moved his way up a little bit. Going to be a good veteran reserve at the point. Harris, Sean's first action, showed a little bit of size. It's going to help us. Jones a little better. So I like what happened tonight. It's good work in progress.
All right, Utah State gets a win, 64-57. We'll take a break and come back, and you, Coach, and I will try to wrap our arms around this one. Utah State gets a 7-point win here at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Coming up next week, Coach, it's Weber State. We'll also take a look at that game as well right here on the Utah